Hello and welcome to a webinar on rate changes. This is going to actually be a two-part webinar, and this is part one. Part one is going to deal with very simple rate changes, ones that are recent, doesn't involve multiple homes, or does not go back 3 or 4 months, and does not include special payments. The second part will be rate changes that involve those things that the first part don't. So we're going to start it with part one. There's 3 types for part one. One is going to be a very simple one. The kid's been in one home and one home only, and it's recent. We're in the month of January, so that we'll make the effective date for all 3 of these types. The effective date is going to be January 1st. The second type is going to be a rate change that happens in the middle of a respite. And the third type is going to be a rate change that the effective date was in a previous home and not the one that they're currently in. So we're going to get started with the very simple one is Steve Gravy. So let's go look at his complete history page. So let's start that over. I've been sitting here a while, so let's see. So if you look at Steve, the effective date of the rate change is going to be January 1st of 2015. If you look, he has no respites. He's only been in this Clark and Lois Kattenberg Landry home. Is the only home he's been in since he was placed. So to do this simple rate change, we're going to click on the payment button for the placement where the rate change was effective. In this case, it's a very simple one placement. And then we're going to come down here, and there's 2 parts to this rate change. We've got to change the home payment information, and we've got to change the invoice information. So to do the rate change, we're going to hit the split button, and then we're going to say this ended obviously on January 1st of 2015. This one will start on January 1st of 2015. This new rate is going to be $76, and this old rate ended due to a rate change. So once you get this screen set up with the old ending, the new starting, just hit the save the payment record. Now if you look at the payment screen, you'll see where on January 15th the old rate of $56 ended due to a rate change on January 1st of 2015, and then starting on January 21st or January 1st of 2015, the new rate started at $76, and it is the current rate. Now, one other thing you want to do is in this placement record values, go ahead and always make sure that rate is the current rate. Okay, so now we got this set. Now we're totally done with the home payment stuff. Now we got to come down to the invoicing. Now if the invoicing didn't change, just leave this alone, but if it does change, then you're going to want to split it too, and it works the same way. So the end date's going to be January 15 of 2015. The start date's going to be January 1st of 2015, and the new rate's going to be $109. So once you get that in there, you can hit save, and now you've split the agency billing. So for the month of December, you're going to invoice $89, and starting on January 1st, you'll invoice $109. Now normally, when a rate changes, the level of care changes. And that's why the level of care information is on this screen. So if this is due to a level of care change, then make sure you go ahead and set up your new level of care. And when you add the new one, it'll end the old one automatically. Okay, and you don't have to adjust end dates. The system knows how to handle the end dates. So that's the first type of rate change. That's a very simple rate change. So now if we come back to the kids' complete history page and refresh this, now you're going to see the 56 rate ended on January 1st. The 76 rate started on January 1st, and this is the home payment. And then on the invoicing, the agency billing, the old rate of $89 ended on January 1st, and the new rate of $109 started on January 1st. And that's it. And then if you look up at the level of care, then obviously you'll see the change in level of care. So that is how you enter a very simple rate change. Now the second type I want to show you is that rate change is effective in the middle of a respite. So on this kid, we're going to say that the rate change effective date was January 5th. And if you look, it's right in the middle of this Luke Groundwalker respite. So you're going to start by doing the same thing. You're going to click on the payment button, but what you got to make sure, this payment button and this payment button are different payment buttons. So if this rate change effect date was January 1st of 2015, then you're going to click on this payment button. If it was before this date or on this date, then if it was before this date, then you're going to click on that payment button. But right now these are simple rate changes, so we're going to go ahead and click on the correct payment button. And then up at the home level, if you look at the last record, or the last record started on 1/7 of 2015, it's at 4050. Right? Well, this rate change is effective January 5th. Right? So when you come down here and you find January 5th is in the middle of this record. Okay? So this is a record we have to split because that's where the rate change took effect. These are the respite records, respite payment records. So again, if you look up here, January 5th does not fall between any of these dates. Okay, so that means you need to come down here to the respite screen, and again, you're going to do this the same way. Change this to the 5th, ended due to rate change. We'll say it went up 20 bucks. And again, change this to the 5th. And the respite still ends on 1/7. Alright, so don't change that end date of the respite because the respite still ends on 1/7. So now what you'll notice is that rate change happened in the middle of the respite in the Luke Groundwalker home. So you go ahead and you split that. So the groundwalkers are going to get paid $60.50 from January 5th for January 5th and January 6th, but they're only going to get $40.50 from January for January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or 3rd and 4th. Now, up here is where they return to the regular home, John McMillan. So we do need to, if we don't change this right now, when they come back to the regular home, they're still going to be at $40.50. So here we want to make sure we set that correctly. Go ahead and always make sure this is the most recent rate. And then we're going to click this Save Payment button. Okay, so now we took care of our home payments. So let's look at this. The kid was in John and Holly's home, and that ended on 1/2, ended due to a respite. On 1/2, we started paying the groundwalkers. Till 1/5, we were paying them $40.50, and then on 1/5, we increased that rate to $60.50 till 1/7. Then we go back here on 1/7, the payments returned to the John and Holly home at $60.50. So that took care of the home payments. Again, we still, if the agency rates change, and we still have to do the agency rate. So let's do January 5th. Again, we'll make this a $20 increase and save those agency invoice records. So now you'll look up to January 5th, you were invoicing $73, and then starting on January 5th, you started invoicing $93. And if you're not in Wisconsin, this monthly rate does not matter, so you can ignore the monthly rates if you don't use monthly rates. Okay, so that shows how you do the home payment records and invoice records. Again, if this was due to a level of care change, then make sure you go ahead and set up the new level of care. You can do it right from the payment screen before you get off of it. And now you've set the level of care accordingly. So that was a little bit more complicated because that rate change effective date was in the middle of a respite. Then the last type of simple respite we're going to look at is the kid that's actually changed homes after the effective date of the respite. And we're going to use this Tim Bertoff. So let me click on his name again. So now, if you look, Tim changed. He was in the Jane Outlook home, and we're going to make this effective date January 1st of 2015. On January 1st, he was in the Jane Outlook home. He moved to the Jane and Billy Davis home on January 5th. So this rate change affects both of these records. Okay, so on this particular one, we got to start with the first record. So we're going to click Payment. We're going to come down here. We're going to split this record just like we did the last time. Only this is going to become January 1st. Ended due to rate change. And then January, let's use the calendar on this one. And we'll say it went up $20 again. Save. So now if you look, we have that January 1st date where the rate changed from 32 to 20. Yeah, we'll let this one be a reduction in level care. So now we got to change the placement record. So we want to go ahead and make sure this matches the current record. Save that. So now we're done with the home. Now we need to fix our invoicing record. So this is going to change to 44. Again, the effective date is January 1st. Save. So now we fixed our invoice record. So what we see down here is we're invoicing $64 starting on September 2nd till January 1st, and then it drops to $44 starting on January 1st. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here just in case this is a Wisconsin kid. And then up in the home section, same thing. We were paying the home $32 a day till 1/1. It ended due to a rate change starting on 1/1. We're paying him $20 a day, and then we set the placement value also. And again, if it's because of a level care change, just come up here and set level care accordingly. And when you do that, it'll update. Try it again. There we go. It'll end the previous one and set up the new one accordingly. So now let's go back to complete history page. Now we clicked on this payment button, so we took care of this placement record. Now if we refresh this page, sorry about all these timeouts. My PC is the timers on my desktop here are set very, very tight. So now if we refresh that page though, we'll come back here and we'll look and we'll see that rate change information, which is all good, right? But now what about this home? We're still invoicing wrong, we're still paying that home wrong. So to fix the next placement, we'll just click on the payment button again. If you notice, level care has already been taken care of. On this page, we just need to change these values. So I changed both home payment records, and I changed the invoice record, and then I can click on any of these save the payment buttons. These three buttons do the same thing, and they save the actual values that you put in on this screen. So now if you look, those rates are set correctly. If we come back here and refresh this page, now we'll see that the next placement is set correctly. So that is a sample of some very simple rate changes. 3 typical scenarios you'll see on ChildTrax that have been addressed. If you have any further questions or needs, please contact us.